Alrighty everybody, so this is just what I have going on this morning, because again, these noodles that I had bought to make the chicken noodle soup with that were just amazing, they had a recipe that was hidden on the inside. See, they got me. There was a recipe hidden on the inside, and I wasn't really necessarily planning on buying tons of these initially, and then I had to cut out this recipe, and of course I had to go buy more noodles. And I generally would only spend a fraction of this on a package of noodles, but I'm trying to get away from pastas and breads and things a bit, and trying to move more towards my own like homemade stuff. But I figure, you know what, when I am gonna have pasta, I want it to be excellent. So I went to Jay's the other day to go pick up some Daniel honey and soap, okay, for his little gift. And I also wanted another one of those big glass jars that the grass-fed milk is in, because it's perfect for putting kombucha in the fridge. Okay, so I went to their meat counter. I never actually shopped their meat counter before, because some of it, they make like sausages and things that are sometimes very expensive. But this chuck roast was a very reasonable price. I mean, at that price, I would almost rather just ground my own beef. And I don't know, I got I basically bought a whole steak roast it was 2 inches thick. So this recipe calls for 1 inch thick cubes. So it was perfect for me. And I'm going to make basically a double recipe of this filling stuff. And then you cook the noodles later to serve the slow cooked stuff over the noodles. But since this does go in the crock pot for so long, okay, I'm like, okay, well, I don't need a super fancy expensive cut of beef. So this chuck roast is going to be just fine. There was a couple of larger chunks of fat that I cut off, and I'm going to end up slicing those really thin and frying them, and putting the, and like basically putting them water over them for broth for ramen. They're going to basically go into my ramen later. But I did forget to get the cream cheese. So that only gets added, you know, it says 30 to 45 minutes before serving. And so even though I only have 2.5 pounds of beef instead of 3 pounds of beef, I'm basically doing a double recipe, okay? And so I'll be needing quite a bit of cream cheese. I generally, unless it's baking, I generally do not, and even then, sometimes I don't use recipes. I generally don't follow recipes, but the noodles were so good that I just wanted to give this a chance, this recipe, and just see how it is the way it is. So yeah, this is basically just about ready. It's gonna go into the crock pot. I didn't have beef broth, so I used some of the bouillon paste. I'm gonna end up adding some more water to that. And I got 2 things of, so this is usually what a single recipe would call for, but while I was there, I was like, well, I actually have enough meat for a double recipe. So I also went ahead and got this. So it's gonna be 10 3/4 ounces of cream cheese for each. So I'm gonna have a little bit of extra. And I generally don't have this, but I'm gonna just make some cheap ramen later because I haven't eaten yet at all today. And with a couple poached eggs, and I'm gonna fry up some of that fat, and I'm gonna put the extra in with my ramen. And I'm probably just gonna do it I'm probably just gonna do like fried ramen and just a little bit of water instead of typical like boiled ramen. But yeah, you know, while I was there, I did splurge a little bit, and I got some of the smoked salmon that they had as well for $10.99 a pound, and I got just a little piece of it, and I devoured it, and the cats really liked it. And so I would just say, even though that's not like a daily fare type of thing, and even this is kind of like high life cooking for me, okay, you know, it's nice every once in a while to have a treat. So Jay's Market I really like it. It's got some good things about it. If any of you are ever in the Rifle River region, we have good canoeing and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the crock pot and get it going. If you don't have a crock pot for cooking, now this one that I have here is really small compared to the one that I used to have. I'm thinking about getting a bigger one, although I do also have a pressure cooker. You know, having a pressure cooker or in like a crock pot can be really helpful, especially if you're really busy doing other work or working outside of the house, to make sure that you can still put up home cooked meals. And oftentimes the quality that you're getting for home cooked is going to be, sometimes you're paying, you know, a decent amount for good ingredients, but you got to shop around. But yeah, you can just get restaurant tier food for a fraction of the cost sometimes. So, you know, if you think you're too busy to cook, get a crock pot and get a crock pot. Look up some crock pot recipes. Okay, look up some pressure cooker recipes, because I promise you, you can still work it out. Okay, I know some people. I hate to criticize people like in front of other people. Okay, because some of my neighbors are extremely poor. But I brought, when I went to go get this stuff and some oatmeal, one of my neighbors basically asked me if I could bring her to the store to pick up some groceries because she herself doesn't have a car, and then her partner, you know, takes the car to work. And I kind of let them do their thing while her and her daughter do their thing while I picked up my stuff. And it was all frozen food. And so she's at home all day. She doesn't work. And I didn't realize she's like not even cooking for the family. So I do want to maybe, like when I get a bigger crock pot, I may actually give this one to her and be like, hey, let me show you how this works. Because you're paying through the nose for these microwave meals, like per person. It was just basically frozen pizzas and microwave meals and frozen corn dogs and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, you're paying through the nose and you're not getting much nutrition out of some of that stuff. So I don't know. I'm going to be shopping around for our bigger crock pots, and we'll see how that goes. But, you know, remember, you can also look on eBay for crock pots and things like that if the ones in the store seem a little bit pricey to you, if your finances are really tight. Garage sales sometimes, or estate sales, can also be a good place to look for crock pots, because they only have them in the thrift stores every once in a while. I have seen them in there before though, and you just have to make sure the store will let you plug it in so that you can make sure that it works before you buy it. But yeah, eBay has also been great to me. Again, I bought these knives. Now it doesn't include these steak knives that I bought separate, but this knife set and the box set was $35 off of eBay, and then I think it was like pretty affordable shipping. So the knives, they did get a lot of use out of them before they were sold on eBay, so they do need sharp ends. Okay, but you know, for me, I have the other set that is really sharp. So I'm somebody that actually likes to have knives at various levels of sharpness and dullness. But anyways, this thing was amazing. This was amazing for just cutting through this meat like butter. It was just amazing. I didn't have to saw nothing. It was just swoop. It's amazing. Anyways, this video has gotten way longer than it needs to be. I'm mostly just babbling, but take it easy, y'all.